So here's the latest on this Invest area that's being monitored by the Hurricane Center. It's Invest 97L. It's still now being given a 50% chance of developing within the next 5 days. Looking a lot better on satellite this morning. I want you to notice how the clouds are sort of fanning out here off to the north and to the east of the circulation. That indicates that there is an area of high pressure aloft. There's lighter wind aloft, and thunderstorms have been responding accordingly. There's a big flare-up of storms that is now occurring from near the Cayman Islands and south of Cuba and generally making its way towards northeastern Mexico around Cancun. So it's going to be pretty wet there. And let's take a look at how this is going to play out. So you've got this broad area of low pressure. There is some dry air off to the north and to the west. I think it's probably going to be able to fend that off. And then stronger winds are going to dip down into the western part of the Gulf of Mexico. So one of the questions is, will the system stay together and manage to come up and stay away from that strong wind, but just close enough to where we get some lift in the atmosphere, in which case we could be talking about Tropical Storm Karen approaching the coast of Florida and possibly Alabama by late Friday and then into early Saturday. Or in scenario 2, the low moves a little farther to the west and then really gets right underneath of those strong winds, which are not favorable for development. In that case, we'd be talking about a weaker area of low pressure, and that would be coming up more towards the central to western part of the Gulf, more towards Louisiana. We probably would not see a tropical storm in that case. It would probably be a tropical depression, or maybe even not a tropical depression, but it would bring some heavier rain up into the Gulf Coast. So we're talking about these two different models here that are showing these two different scenarios, the GFS model and the European model. We'll put them into motion, and the GFS model, the most recent run, indicating again possibly a tropical storm that would bring some wind and some wave action there into the northern Gulf Coast, and that would be developing late on Friday, continuing into the overnight on Friday. The European model not really showing much of any wind, and let's take a look at what both of these models are saying in terms of rainfall. So you've got some heavier rain coming in with the GFS model, maybe 3 to 5 inches northwest Florida, the European model farther west, but also showing heavier rain. So in both cases, we're talking about rain.